The Chargers spent one offseason turning the least feared offense in their division into a problem nobody wants on the schedule. Every level of it looks different. New play caller, new blockers, new weapons. And at the center sits Justin Herbert, a top quarterback who took 54 sacks last season, second most in football, and still dragged this team to 11 wins. Now picture him protected. One player on this roster spent his rookie year hidden behind a broken offensive line, and the league moved on from him too fast. By the end, you will see why he becomes the engine of everything. Start with the man holding the clipboard. Mike McDaniel left a head coaching chair in Miami to run this offense, and he brought his system and his fullback with him. He paired Herbert with a rebuilt interior, a tight end room 3 deep, and a backfield built for explosive runs. Then on the third day of the draft, Joe Hortiz spent a 4th-round pick on a wide receiver who ran the fastest 40-yard dash of the entire combine, 4.26 seconds. Nobody outside the building grasps how badly one signing bends a defense. The reveal lands later and reframes the whole passing game. The wild card loss to the Patriots ended with 3 points on the board and a long offseason of questions. Harbaugh answered by overhauling the side of the ball he no longer trusted. The defense stays loaded around Derwin James Jr. and Khalil Mack, but the offense is the story now, and the division feels thinner than it has in years. One rival already lost its quarterback to a knee. The door is open, and the Chargers walked into this offseason like a team planning to kick it down. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Chargers and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 350 likes on this video. The first question this offense answers is simple. Who leads it? Ladd McConkey arrived as a rookie and caught 82 passes for more than 1,100 yards, a season most receivers chase their whole careers. He even closed it with a 9-catch, 197-yard playoff game and an 86-yard touchdown. Then last year, the floor caved in around him. The line broke. Keenan Allen returned to eat slot targets, and McConkey fell to 66 catches for 789 yards. The talent never left. The situation failed him. McDaniel built his career turning this exact archetype, a precise separator with elite quickness, into the heartbeat of a top offense. Across the room sits Quentin Johnston, the former first-round pick teammates, once compared to Andre Johnson and Julio Jones. Last season, he averaged 14.4 yards per catch, 21st in the league, and scored 8 touchdowns while breaking tackles after the grab. His coaches point to college, where more than 500 of his yards came after the catch in a single season. McDaniel runs the densest yards after catch system in football. Put a big, physical runner into a machine like this and the numbers climb. So the debate inside the building is healthy. McConkey owns the higher floor and the route polish. Johnston owns the ceiling and the open field violence. One leads in receptions and trust. The other threatens to lead in touchdowns and explosive plays. With Allen still unsigned and 122 vacated targets sitting on the table, both have room to feast at once. The receiver who wins this offense might depend less on talent and more on where McDaniel hides the football. And the blockers up front change the calculus completely. 1 year ago, the tight end room was the punchline of this offense. Today, it is a weapon. It started with a rookie nobody drafted early. Oronde Gadsden, the second, slid to the 5th round, then forced his way onto the field by week 6 and finished as the only tight end to catch a touchdown for this team, with 49 grabs for 664 yards. A 5th-round rookie leading your tight ends tells you how thin the group was. By season's end, he outsnapped the veterans, the front office, paid to start ahead of him. Hortiz refused to enter another season this exposed, so he added 2 different answers. David Njoku walked in as a former first-round talent with more than 4,000 career receiving yards and 34 touchdowns. A seam, stretching mismatched defenses, lose sleep over. Then came Charlie Kolar, one of the better blocking tight ends in the sport. A chess piece, McDaniel moves across formations to disguise run and pass. Pair the blocker with the pass catchers, and the picture changes. Defenses no longer read personnel and know the call. The uncertainty is the point. McDaniel has spent his career hunting easy completions, and a deep, tight end group hands him 3 of them. He has history here, leaning on big targets in San Francisco and Miami, and feeding them red zone work, where this team has struggled for years. Herbert has never owned a tight end room remotely this dangerous. The blocking opens the run, the mismatches open the end zone, and none of it works without the rebuild happening up front, which is where the real surprise of this offseason lives. Here's the move nobody talks about enough. The headline was McDaniel, but the hire underneath it might matter more. Harbaugh brought in Butch Berry, the offensive line coach behind Miami's zone running game, and switched the whole front to an outside zone scheme. Reporters watched these linemen run more in practice than they had ever seen. The straw hat in the trench is the engine. This offense rebuilds from the ground, not from the skill positions. The pieces match the plan. Tyler Biadasz arrives as a Pro Bowl center to replace a unit ranked near the bottom of the league. Cole Strange comes from Miami, already fluent in the system. The Chargers drafted Jake Slaughter in the 2nd round to fight for a starting guard spot, while Trevor Penning and returning tackles Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt give this line a ceiling it lacked a year ago. They released Mekhi Becton. They let Zion Johnson leave for Cleveland. Pro Football Focus graded the 2025 line near the bottom of the league, and the front office answered by spending 4 of its 8 draft picks on the offensive front. Every choice pointed one direction. Then they signed the secret ingredient. Alec Ingold spent 4 seasons as McDaniel's fullback in Miami, a Pro Bowl lead blocker who teaches the offense as much as he runs it. He helped pave the way for 1,000-yard rushers, and now he clears the path for a young backfield learning new footwork. A real fullback playing fullback sounds obvious, yet it reshapes how this team attacks. Protect Herbert, win the line of scrimmage, and the most explosive piece of this whole offense finally gets room to run. Here's the player the league forgot. Omarion Hampton entered as a first-round rookie, then an ankle injury and a collapsing line held him to 9 games. Even so, he ran for 545 yards and 4 touchdowns, and added a touchdown through the air, flashing in stretches nobody overlooked. He even ripped off a 165-yard game against the Giants before the injuries piled up. Harbaugh compares him to Terrell Davis, the Hall of Famer who won an MVP and multiple titles in this same division. Heal him, protect him, and the comparison stops sounding generous. Around him sits depth this team has never carried. Kimani Vidal broke out when Hampton went down, posting 643 yards and 3 scores in a season he opened off the roster. Then Ortiz added pure speed in Keaton Mitchell, a back who averaged 6.3 yards per carry over 3 years in Baltimore and ran a 4.36 40. Lose one and the next man keeps the explosiveness alive. The Chargers moved on from Najee Harris and built a faster, deeper, more dangerous room. This is the engine the trailer promised. McDaniel ran the 5th-ranked rushing attack by efficiency in Miami, while his quarterback offered little as a runner, which means the scheme creates yards on its own. Hand this scheme Hampton, a fullback in Ingold, a blocking tight end in Kolar, and a rebuilt line, and the math turns brutal. Defenses have no way to load the box with Herbert waiting to punish them. The forgotten rookie becomes the centerpiece, and the rest of the division has to prove it kept pace. Now look at the neighborhood, because the AFC West cracked open. The Chiefs spent a decade owning this division and then lost Patrick Mahomes to a torn knee in a December loss to these same Chargers. He tore the ACL and the LCL. The team finished 6-11, and they missed the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. These same Chargers won the December meeting, and the ripple ended an era of dominance. His availability for Week 1 sits in question. The dynasty looks human for the first time in years. The rest of the division offers openings too. Travis Kelce weighs retirement after 3 straight seasons under 1,000 yards. And Kansas City traded for Justin Fields to hold the fort. Denver leaned on close wins last season, and thin depth behind a strong starting group, a formula history rarely repeats. Las Vegas added talent and a real plan, yet first-year quarterbacks almost never flip a rebuild in one summer. Kansas City also sits near the bottom of the league in salary cap space and shipped a starting cornerback to the Rams for picks. Every rival carries a question the Chargers do not. This is where the rebuild pays off. While the division patches holes, Los Angeles upgraded the trenches, the backfield, and the tight end room around a quarterback already in his prime. Harbaugh has stacked back-to-back 11-win seasons and back-to-back playoff trips, something the franchise had not done in over a decade. The talent gap is closing in their favor. The only box left unchecked is the one haunting them since 2018, and the next reveal explains how this offense finally checks it. Here's the reveal the trailer promised. The fourth-round pick is Brennan Thompson, and his 4.26 40 was the fastest at the entire combine. He led the Southeastern Conference with 1,054 receiving yards at Mississippi State and stacked 10 catches of 40 or more yards in a single season. Scouts compare his speed to Deshaun Jackson and Tyreek Hill. The Chargers have chased this exact trait for years and finally landed it on the third day of the draft. Speed like this rewrites a defense before the snap. A safety who fears a track star has to play deeper, and depth opens the middle of the field where McConkey, Gadsden II, and Njoku live. McDaniel built his Miami offense on this principle, using one burner to stretch coverage thin so everyone else feasts underneath. Thompson turns a 10-yard gain into a 40-yard score the instant he reaches open grass. His top speed clocked 24 miles per hour at the combine, a number defensive backs rarely match. You cannot scheme this away. You cannot coach a slower player into a faster one. This is why one third-day pick reframes the whole passing game. He himself called McDaniel the perfect coach to start his career, and the fit is obvious. Give a vertical threat to the best yards after catch designer in football, and the explosive plays multiply for everyone. Herbert finally owns a receiver. He does not have to wait on downfield. The trailer asked why one signing changes everything, and the answer is geometry. Thompson stretches the field, and the rest of the offense inherits the space he creates. So where does this leave the Chargers? With a quarterback in his prime, a play caller built to protect him, and weapons at every level of the field. The line got younger and meaner. The backfield got faster and deeper. The tight end room went from punchline to mismatch factory. And the division built to own them is suddenly chasing. This is the most complete offense Herbert has ever stepped into. Here's the prediction worth arguing about. This team wins the AFC West and reaches 11 wins again. And for the first time since 2018, they win a playoff game. Some of you think the offensive line still has too many questions to trust in January. Some of you think the Chiefs rise from the floor the moment Mahomes returns. Drop your record projection in the comments. Tell me whether Hampton hits 1,000 yards, and subscribe before the next breakdown lands, because the schedule reveal changes how realistic this prediction looks. The offense is the easy sell. The harder question is the side of the ball nobody has answered yet. A new coordinator in Chris O'Leary inherits a top 10 defense from a man who left to run the Ravens, and replacing Jesse Minter will define whether this season ends in January or February. Derwin James Jr. and Khalil Mack still anchor a unit built to win now. The offense looks ready to carry them. The defense holds the final answer, and whether it survives the loss of Minter is the story waiting to be told.